Alright, today I'm going to do a very minimalist recording studio home setup. As our keyboard, we're going to use a Roland JUNO DS88. For our audio interface, we're going to use a Focusrite Scarlett 8i6. And for our recording studio software, we're going to use Reaper DAW. We're going to need some stuff to hold our laptop and keyboard. I just got this dual X-brace keyboard stand, and then I have a adjustable laptop desk that's foldable, and I just all tied it together with some paracord. I'll probably use Velcro in the future just because it's easier to adjust. Now we're going to add the Roland JUNO DS88 keyboard on the stand, and now we're going to plug the JUNO DS88 into the outlet. And then we'll Velcro the keyboard power supply to the keyboard stand just to keep it out of the way and all the cords nice and tight. Next we can add the laptop. Next I made some hooks out of wire coat hangers. I removed the caps from the keyboard stand and just slid the hooks on. Next I'll add the Focusrite Scarlett 8i6 audio interface. Now I'm going to plug in the power supply. Now I'm going to add a boom mic stand. Now I'm going to add a shock mount to the mic stand. For my microphone, I chose the Blue Yeti Pro and added some pop filters and a filter screen. Now I have to connect this microphone to my Scarlett 8i6. I'm going to use a 5-pin adapter cable and an XRL cable. Now to keep the cables off the floor, I'm just going to run it through the back of this laptop stand. I'm going to plug the microphone XRL cable into input 1. And I'm going to use input 1 to be dedicated to my microphone settings. Now I'm going to connect the Scarlett 8i6 to the laptop using the included USB cable. Now I'm going to connect my primary headphones into output 1. When I'm not using my headphones, I'm just going to store them on the hooks I made. Next I'm going to connect my keyboard into my Scarlett 8i6 using a 1/4-inch guitar cable. I'm going to use the 1/4-inch cable for the JUNO DS88 because I prefer the internal sound patches and presets that it comes with. If you're going to use the keyboard as a MIDI controller, you're going to need MIDI cables. The MIDI controller and the MIDI cables will allow you to use the sounds that come with Reaper. However, I want to use the sounds that come with the JUNO DS88, so I'm just going to use a 1/4-inch guitar cable. I'm going to connect the JUNO DS88 to the Scarlett 8i6 with the 1/4-inch jack. I'm going to connect it into input 3. This is on the back side in the top right corner. Any extra cable I have connecting the JUNO DS88 to the Scarlett 8i6, I'm going to roll it up, Velcro it, and stick it on the hook underneath. Next I'm going to connect my guitar to my Scarlett 8i6 using a 1/4-inch guitar cable. I'm going to connect my guitar to my Scarlett 8i6 with a 1/4-inch guitar cable into input 2, and I'm going to use input 2 as my dedicated guitar settings. And of course, for playing the guitar with better posture, I'm going to use a foot stand. If I decide to use the speakers as my audio output instead of the headphones, all I have to do is unplug the 3mm jack from my headphones and then plug it into my speakers audio input cable. Now that I'm done with the basic equipment setup, I'm going to take a look at the recording software. I'm going to use Reaper Digital Audio Workstation. The first thing you got to do is download Reaper DAW at www.reaper.fm. The first 60 days is free, and then you have to pay for it. Now we're going to open Reaper DAW to a blank page. It might look a little different on yours than it does mine. I was fooling around with it for a while before I kind of figured it out. What we're going to want to do is set up the Focusrite Scarlett 8i6 so that everything registers. So we're going to go up into Options, Preference. Now that we're in the Reaper Preferences window, go to Device under Audio. Now we're in Audio Device Settings. Under Audio Systems, click on that. For the audio system, choose ASIO. Now click on the ASIO driver. In the drop-down menu, choose Focusrite USB ASIO. Check Enable Inputs. Under the first, choose 1 Input 1. Under the last, choose 10 Loop 2. As output range, choose 1 output 1 and last 6 output 6. That's just all the basic hardware on your Scarlett Focusrite 8i6. Now we're done with the audio device settings. Click OK. Now we're going to make a new track, so double click in this area. Now that the track has appeared, press the red circle. This is the arm and disarm for recording. Now go to the input setting and left click. Now a drop down menu appears. Choose record input audio and MIDI. Right click on the voice meter bar. A menu pops down. Go under input mono. Choose input 1 for our microphone settings. Now speak into your mic and you should see the voice meter bar going up and down. Now double click in the blank area next to the red button. I'm going to write one vocal for my vocal melody. I'm going to do a recording test through my microphone. I'm going to press the red record button. I'm going to make sure that the red button is lit up. That means it's armed and ready to record. I can see that the audio meter is going up and down as I speak, and I can see some sound waves in my recording. Now that I'm done with the first track for vocal melody, I'm going to make a whole nother track with the same settings and same inputs and call it vocal harmony. Now I want to add a track for live guitar. I'm going to double click in the track area. I'm going to press the red button to arm it. Next to the red arm button, I'm going to double click in the blank space and write guitar. I'm going to click on the input setting. I'm going to make sure that the input setting is set to record input audio or MIDI. Now I'm going to right click on my audio input meter. When the menu pops up, we're going to go to input mono and select input 2. Now we're going to make a new track for our JUNO DS88 keyboard. We're going to press the red button and double click on the space and write in keyboard. I'm going to click on the input settings. I'm going to make sure that it says record input audio or MIDI. I'm going to right click on my audio meter. The menu is going to drop down and I'm going to choose input mono, input 3. Input 3 is on the back of my Focusrite Scarlett 8i6. Now I want to make a track for drums, but I don't want to use live drums. I just want to use the sound presets on my JUNO DS88. On this track, I'm going to call it cymbals. I'm going to click on input. I'm going to make sure that the input is set to record input audio or MIDI. I'm going to right click on my audio meter. I'm going to choose input mono and input 3 for my keyboard. Now I'm going to right click in the track area and I'm going to make a track for my kick and snare sounds. When you right click in the track area, instead of double click, you can get a drop down menu. You can click insert new track or you can do Control T. Double clicking is just the easiest. Now we're going to do the same thing as this one. Make sure the arm button is lit up. I'm going to write kick and snare. Under audio inputs, make sure it says record input and audio MIDI. Now we'll right click on the audio meter, choose input mono and input 3 for our keyboard. Now to make sure that all of our audio is playing together, we're going to need a metronome. There's a metronome icon, click on it, it'll disable, click on it again, it'll enable. If you right click on the metronome icon, all your metronome and pre-roll settings will show up. I played around with all the settings and this is kind of what I prefer. Also at the bottom of the track you can change the beats per minute and the time signature as well as the rate of speed. After I've created all the tracks that I think I need for a basic song, I'm going to save this as a template. I'm going to go up to the corner where it says File and then I'm going to save the project. And that's it for my basic home studio recording setup for my JUNO DS88 and my Focusrite Scarlett 8i6. As well as my Reaper DAW. I hope you enjoyed it and helped you out a little bit. Thanks for watching.